Today, I'm going to be talking about my journey in personal finance and budgeting, why I decided to ditch debt, and I'm also going to be sharing a little bit about my personal background. Hey everyone, welcome to another video of It's Tom's Life. I'm Tom, and on this channel, I like to talk about personal finance, budgeting, health and fitness, and travel. Some of the videos I make include monthly budgeting, where you get to see how I allocate and spend my actual income, pay off debt, and save towards my financial goals. I will also be sharing my fitness goals and updates, and I'll hopefully be able to start traveling later on in the year, and I'll be sharing those experiences too. If you don't know, I'm a follower of the Dave Ramsey baby steps. I completed baby step 1 around mid-2019, and ever since then I've been working really hard to completely pay off my debt. Before I go into the personal finance side of things, I'd like to share a little bit of my background to give a little bit of context as to why I got into debt in the first place and what motivated me to take back control of my personal finances. So as I said in the intro, my name's Tom and I'm 29 years old. I'm 30 years old this year. I'm trying not to remind myself of that too much. I work as a web application developer at a large international tech company. However, I've not always done that, and I made a huge career move in 2018. Most of my life, from around the age of 5 years old, I trained to become a professional dancer. My main disciplines included tap, jazz, musical theatre, and a little bit of ballet as well. Although I didn't train specifically in it, I always had a huge passion as well for Irish dancing. I was very much obsessed with the whole river dance and Lord of the Dance craze in the 90s. Anyway, when I was 18, I moved out of home and I moved to London to pursue my career and train as a professional dancer. I graduated in 2012, and my very first job out of college was part of the ensemble cast for the theatre company for P&O Cruises, which is a UK-based cruise company. And I was so lucky. I was lucky enough to travel most of the world, performing around 10 shows a week on that cruise ship. That job lasted around a year and a half. It was 2 different contracts. I did a 10-month contract and I came home for a little bit, and then I went on to do another around about 6-month contract. After that, pursuing my obsession with Irish dancing, I auditioned for and again was lucky enough to get into a show which was more of a world dance style show, but it had a large amount of Irish dancing in it. It also had things like jazz, tap, and even flamenco. Again, with that show, I was so lucky. I got to travel all around the world with that show over the past 8 years. I've toured in places like Canada, Israel, China, the Netherlands, and the UK as well. So it's been awesome being part of that show. Now, there is a saying in the dance industry, at least where I'm from, which is if you want to get rich and earn a lot of money, do something else. Dancing is just one of those industries where people do it for the passion. You don't go in there to make a lot of money. You go there for, doing the shows, going on tours, traveling the world. And it's most people's dreams from when they're young. So people are quite happy to take jobs for minimal wage. But on the other end, especially when you get towards the bigger shows, there is an expectation of a certain lifestyle. When you're on tours, you're expected to go out for meals and dress nicely and have all the nice kind of workout and rehearsal gear and all this kind of stuff. So there's a huge mismatch between, what you earn as a dancer and the level of lifestyle that you're trying to perceive on the outside. So for me anyway, that left me in quite a bad financial situation. Although I think at the time I didn't realise that. I thought, it's normal to be in debt. It's normal to have credit cards and overdrafts and loans and this kind of thing. Until I came back from one tour in Canada. It was around 2017, and I had a bit of a dry period there. And quite often when that happens as a dancer or a performer, you take all kinds of work. So when I came back from that tour, I was doing promotion work, which is things like handing out free samples on the streets, that kind of thing. I also was doing freelance work because I was interested in technology and web development at that point. So I was able to kind of, I guess you could call it a side hustle, freelancing there. I also did a bit of film extra work. I'm actually in a film on Netflix, although only for a few seconds in a couple of scenes. It's a film called Hurricane, so if you want to go and check that out and see if you can find me in the background somewhere there, then if you manage to find me, let me know in the comments. It was actually at that point after I came off that tour and I was doing all of these jobs, which I kind of felt very motivated to improve my financial situation. But I think I was a bit naive at that point because I thought that to increase, to improve my financial situation, I needed to just increase my income. And as I now know, and as Dave Ramsey says as well, there is a budget for any level of income. To be financially secure, of course, you need to earn some amount of money, but there are people who earn thousands and thousands of pounds a year, a month, and still end up in debt. I mean, look at footballers and some pop stars, they earn a fortune and they still end up bankrupt. So it's not about how much money you're earning, it's about what you actually do with the money that you are earning. And that can be any amount. Like I said, I did discover Dave Ramsey at that point and I watched a lot of videos, but I think the message didn't really sink in for me at that point. I don't know if I wasn't paying enough attention or something, but like I said, I just thought that if I earned more money, then everything would be fixed. So I was also at that point thinking a lot about having this career change. As I said, I'd always been interested in technology and the web and web development. I'd done a lot of freelance up until that point, and it was always in my mind that I would retire from dancing at kind of late 20s and pursue a career in technology, which I thought at the time would fix all my financial problems because I'd be earning more money and it would be a stable job. And I was soon to find out that that wasn't necessarily the case. So I retired or semi-retired from dancing. I still do some tours when they're short tours, or I do some things like weddings and things like that. But I'm, for the most part, retired full-time from dancing. And I did that in 2019, and that's when I started my new job. So that was late 2018, and for the first probably 7 months of that job, it was amazing to me. I'd never earned that much in my life, and I just thought, well, my money will fix itself. I'm earning more money. I don't have to worry anymore. But obviously, that's not the case. So it was around then, late 2019. I'd been in that job so far for about a year, and I decided to revisit Dave Ramsey and the baby steps and really assess what my financial situation was. So when I did that, I discovered I was £23,461 in debt. This debt was made up of a graduate loan, which I got just as I graduated, credit cards, 3 credit cards, I think, and a bunch of payday loans, 2 overdrafts, and probably owed Tom, Dick, and Harry a bunch of money as well. That was about 18 months ago, and since then I've paid off £21,737 by living very frugally and keeping a budget every single month. That's paying off on average around £1,200 a month on an average income of £35,000 a year. That means as of January 2021, I am £1,724 in debt, which means I'm really close to completing baby step 2 and finishing my debt-free journey. The next step, baby step 3, is to complete a fully funded emergency fund of 3 to 6 months worth of essential expenses, and my goal for that is £8,000, which I hope to complete by around late this year or early next year. I recently made a video where I shared all of my 2021 goals, and I'll leave a link to that video in the description. That's it for this video. If you've enjoyed it, please give me a thumbs up. And if you're interested in the types of things I talk about, as I said, I make videos about personal finance and specifically my progress through the Dave Ramsey baby steps, health and fitness, and travel eventually. Feel free to subscribe, hit the subscribe button below, and I'll see you next time.